This is workshop 3 in the series of researching your family history in Ireland. In this workshop I want to talk about the starting point, to make it clear that the starting point for people who live in Ireland is going to be slightly different, well, considerably different to the starting point for people who live in the diaspora, people who live in America. But in both cases you're going to need to use oral history to get there. What you need to do obviously is to talk to the older members of your family to find out as much as you can about the names of grandparents, great-grandparents if you can, siblings of grandparents, and in particular where they lived. In Ireland, most of Ireland was rural, very little of it was urban, so therefore people lived in townlands. Townland, the name sounds as if it should be an urban area, but it's actually usually a rural area, a small rural area, maybe a couple of square miles or maybe even less than that. You need to have an idea of at least the parish and preferably the townland in order to be able to find your family history. If you're living in Ireland, you're looking for your grandparents in the 1911 census. You want to get a link into that 1911 census before anything else. If you're not living in Ireland, your grandparents probably, or your ancestors probably left in sometime in the 19th century. I must be brutally honest here, if they left much before 1850 or 1840 anyway, much before the famine in other words, you're not going to find it very easy to find your family history at all. And this series of workshop is designed to suit those people who do have some idea of the parish and preferably the townland where their people came from. If you are a member of the diaspora, if you're from America, what you're really looking for is your ancestors in the Griffiths valuation, which was a land survey done in the mid-19th century. So that will be the starting point for you. Griffiths valuation, mid-19th century, 1855, thereabouts. If you're living in Ireland, the starting point for you will be, can I find my grandparents in the or great-grandparents in the 1911 and then the 1901 census. Whichever you're doing, you need to ask around, you need to collect information, and all the information you collect needs to be put down somewhere in writing because you will forget what you have found, you'll forget where you found it. It all needs to be sourced carefully, copied and pasted. And we're very lucky nowadays that we do have family trees in which we can copy and paste all of this information that we are collecting. You can use the most common one, which is called Family Tree Maker. Most people use, I don't know what it costs now. It used to cost, when I bought it about 10 years ago, it was £100. I think it's a lot cheaper than that now. Or you can use one of several free ones, including the one I use, which is called GenoPro, and I would like to show you it here now. This is a GenoPro tree. It's actually my GenoPro family tree, and that is my grandfather there. We referred to him in program 1, and the beauty of this is that all the people that I have discovered, researched and found in my family tree can all be placed on here, and I can add more, I can subtract them, and I can link them. But I can also copy all the information into them. So if I double click, for example, in my grandfather, you can see that there are tabs up here, general, about his birth, about his death, and also lots more tabs, but also one for pictures so that I can keep the pictures of my grandfather. There's that very confident man yet again, still in New York, posing for the camera. All the information can be recorded in here. Now GenoPro is free, as I said. This is the free website where you can get GenoPro free. Like anything else in genealogy, the place to find it is Google. If you just Google free GenoPro, you will get the free website. And down at the bottom, if you follow down to the links, they suggest that you download GenoPro 1.7 or that one there, whatever that is, from this site. So if I click on here, it will give me all of the previous versions of GenoPro, and the free one, 1.7, is way down here towards the bottom. There it is there, 1.7. A click on that will install free GenoPro onto your computer. It's good enough. It's a bit clunky because it's one of their earlier versions, way back in 1999. The more modern one, which dates from 2011, only costs You get it free for 2 weeks, but it only costs $40 or $50, I think. Well worth paying for. More bells and whistles, but the free one is adequate. I want to show you the beauty of it now. For example, supposing you had found your ancestors in the 1911 census. This happens to be my great-grandfather, James Gordon, and that's the Thomas Gordon who you've seen pictures of. And I want to copy this information into my family tree. Don't have to write it all down and copy it out, which would take you forever. All you have to do is to copy and paste. So left click, copy all the way down to the bottom, over to the end, right over to the end, right click, copy, take it to the family tree. I can put it into Thomas Gordon because he was there, or I could put it into James Gordon, his father, creating space for it here. Right click, paste, and there's all of that information taken from the 1901 census, all included there for future reference. If I want to look it up again at any time, it is all in there. I can't stress this enough. It really is extremely important for you to record all of the information you find, including things that turned out to be not helpful, information that was incorrect or that wasn't there when you went and looked for it. You want to write that on as well, say that you searched the births, marriages and deaths on Roots Ireland, didn't find them. Otherwise, you come back there in 2 years' time, you'll be doing it all over again.